Okay, but Patrick, let's move back to international affairs and Syria.
Well, disturbing news, but big news nonetheless. Let's have a look at this up on screen if we can. The UK lifts sanctions on Syrian ministries and intelligence agencies. There is Mohammed Al-Jolani, aka Ahmed al-Sharar, the Saudi-born self-proclaimed president, quote unquote, of Syria. And so basically, the president there has urged Western countries to relieve his country of sanctions and allow it to rebuild after 14 years of war that he himself is responsible for fomenting. So the UK is taking this bold step here. What has brought this on? But not to be outdone. This is Corey Mills, part of Trump's inner circle. He's been meeting with the Al-Qaeda and former ISIS deputy, who is head of the military junta in Damascus, a terrorist on the FBI, I think a bounty on the FBI's most wanted list, if I'm not mistaken. There, he's spoken with them, and they're open to the Abraham Accords, normalization with the state of Israel. That's really what this is all about. And this is why there were sanctions before on Syria. And so let's look at this. And to top this off, Al-Jolani has obeyed U.S.-Israeli orders and arrested Palestinian Islamic Jihad officials, PIJ officials. So this is a major step here. So this is clearly at the behest of Israel and the U.S. This was a precondition. If you note, that was last week. So this was a precondition for this next step. So I think this is also part of where Britain's evaluation of their status is as well here. And according to a former British diplomat, Craig Murray, the terrorist leader, self-appointed president, was privately assured that the UK, that Syria will normalize ties with Israel, thus formally recognizing the illegal occupation state and even exchanging ambassadors by the end of 2026. So my question is, and let's go to the UK Gov website here. This is how they're announcing it. UK bolsters support for the, quote, Syrian people by amending Syrian sanctions. So they're lifting sanctions on Syria. Okay, previously it was because of, quote, Assad. We're going to ask a legit question, Mike, here. Is the UK formally recognizing Al-Qaeda, HTS, terrorist junta government in Damascus, a government, a self-proclaimed government that said there will be no elections in the country. So this is a terrorist group, a terrorist leader, al-Baghdadi's deputy at ISIS, the founder of Al-Qaeda in Syria, and you're now formally recognizing this government that took force and is currently running pogroms in the coastal regions of Syria against religious minorities and ethnic minorities. I mean, everything I'm saying is absolutely ironclad fact. The question is this a formal recognition of a terrorist?
It looks like it.
A terrorist regime. That's what it looks like. Why is that? We don't know. But just remind people, this is on the Cradle. This is actually just this week. Syria's stolen daughters. The HTS Jolani campaign to enslave Alawite women. A whole list of women have been abducted, killed, abused, missing. There's a whole list of them. And that's what's happening here. And I'll go to Joshua Landis here, and he is with the Quincy Institute in the United States, University of Oklahoma. And this is a evangelical Islamic festival. They're calling for Syrians to sacrifice their blood and lives for Islam, and they'll deliver a heavy blow of the sword will fall soon against religious minorities and what they call enemies of Islam. That's 60% of people living in Latakia who are Christian and Alawite, okay? That's what's going on in plain sight. So why is the U.S. government in Syria not doing anything to stop these pogroms, or do they actually care? That's the question. Here's another disturbing video, again, posted by Joshua Landis. Go ahead and look at this.
اللهم لك الحمد يا رب. هدول جماعة أرضي خالصة أرضي الحمد لله بفضل الله.
It's only 20 seconds long, but
sure.
We saw enough there.
Yes.
It's beyond the pale, and there's not a word of condemnation from any of our political leaders about the slaughter of Alawites and Christians by the Al-Sharar, aka Al-Jolani, HTS Al-Qaeda junta. By definition, it's a junta in Syria. Why is that? Why is this not eligible for any condemnation or comment? This wasn't happening under the quote Assad regime. This wasn't happening. It was a pluralistic society. Everybody received equal protection.
Because we've been funding them and training them and supporting them since 2011, effectively. So we're not going to criticize our own proxies.
So, and Israel obviously wants to normalize, of course, because Syria, this new regime has given away a large percentage of its territory voluntarily to Israel. So like a donation to the state of Israel. Anyway, speaking of Israel here, look at this. Senior Israeli officers leaked classified data, including preparations for an attack on Iran. This shows you that all is not well in Tel Aviv, Mike, and more to come. There are the beginnings of what a lot of people are calling a potential civil war within Israeli society. So just that descent of leaking Iran attack plans shows you that there is major upheavals going on within the defense establishment and between Netanyahu and other opposition figures there. So more on that later.
Okay, thank you, Patrick. Mark, let's come back to you then to finish off. And